Hello and welcome back to Rex the Rabbit. Today we have an interesting FNAF fan game here called FNAF Zero, made by Mikkel Animations. Yes, no clickbait, this game is legit called FNAF Zero, which means it's a Fredbear game. But this Fredbear game is interesting. Even though it doesn't have much story-wise, it is supposed to be an unofficial prequel and only accounts for the first 4 FNAF games. It's basically supposed to be what if Scott made a Fredbear game instead of Sister Location. But this game also has some Secret of the Mimic influence, but I'll explain that later. Let's just dive into FNAF Zero. But before actually going into the game, I want to talk about the new renders. Yes, this is Rex the Rabbit, the animatronic 2.0. Made by another friend of mine named Nova Wolf. I like it. So unfortunately, the other model has to get retired. We'll just say that, retired. Anyway, also before going into the game, let's go over the trailer first, because it is actually pretty interesting. Also, yeah, I might be a little sick, but I still wanted to get a video out, so yeah, I hope it's not noticeable. Anyway, the trailer starts off with some text saying, "You've been here since the beginning." It zooms in on a poster of Golden Freddy with his white pupils being visible. Then it shows text saying, "And you know how the story ends." Then it shows a shot of withered Golden Freddy sitting on the floor. Then more text, but where did it all begin? Then it shows Springtrap staring at us, before then turning his head down to stare us down. The animation looks freaking sweet. Nah. It then cuts to some gameplay before the power shuts off and we get jump scared by Fredbear. It then shows shots of Springtrap, Toy Freddy, and then Fredbear to basically signify that we're going to the past. Even though FNAF 2 is also a prequel, but I digress. After that, we get a title drop and the release date, which says September 14th, 2016, which is a nod to how this game is an unofficial prequel and probably would have released at this time frame. Starting the game, I already want to comment on this screen because I don't like the way this game is windowed. There's too much empty space, I just don't really like it. Anyway, starting the game, we get a newspaper about a family restaurant needing a night guard. Classic. We then spawn in the office. We are equipped with a flashlight we can use in the room. For night 1, we have 2 threats, Spring Bonnie and Endo. Spring Bonnie has a very interesting design, looking nothing like the Spring Bonnie we're used to and almost having a toy Bonnie head. But I think this design is based off this one head from that FNAF 4 minigame, which I always believed was Scraptrap's head, but that's a topic for another day. For the Endo, it has a very interesting look. He looks like a real-life endoskeleton, mech. Alright, now for the mechanics, Spring Bonnie starts on the stage and will move to the entrance before crawling into the vent. We must go onto the vent camera and click this green thing to close it. After a successful movement opportunity, he will bang on the vent and will go back to the stage. But on the 4th turn, when he does this, the vent will break and will be unusable. You must go to the power room cam and click this button to reboot the power to reset the vent. During this, we cannot look at the cameras and the office goes dark. For the Endo, after every cam flip, the Endo has a chance to activate. He'll look up at us and twitch. When he does this, we must quickly shine the light on him. Oh yeah, I should have mentioned this, but there's no cutscenes or minigames, so let's just move on to night 2. Night 2 adds Shadow Spring Bonnie. When switching through cameras, Shadow Spring Bonnie has a chance to appear on the camera we switch to. We must quickly flip it down to avoid his jump scare. Night 3, the phone guy calls us again and explains Fredbear, but also mentions that Camo 6 will be fixed after our shift. Obviously, this night adds Fredbear, who takes his appearance from Secret of the Mimic, instead having a matte finish to him and has eyes. My honest thoughts on Secret of the Mimic Fredbear I think if you gave him more teeth, it would make him look better. He just looks goofy, especially when he opens his mouth. And I won't lie, in this game, his camera renders hide his goofiness enough to where he actually looks intimidating, which should be the goal for Fredbear. I mean, he bit a kid's frontal lobe off. He better be intimidating. Anyway, Fredbear also starts on the stage and will go to the power room. Once he goes there, he will start laughing. We must go on the power room camera and reboot the power. If we don't, he will turn off the power and kill us afterward. I won't lie, I don't really like this mechanic that much because it gets rid of the whole Spring Bonnie's mechanic of breaking the vent, since it's very unlikely, since Fredbear will just make you do that anyway. But this does require some timing, because what if Spring Bonnie is close to the vent and Fredbear is about to go into the power room? Ideally, you want Spring Bonnie to go into the vent first so you can deal with him quickly, and then you would want Fredbear to quickly go into the power room to reboot the power as fast as possible, so Spring Bonnie doesn't have a chance to go into the vent while you're just in the dark. Moving on to night 4, you'll notice that Camo 6 is fixed, and there's this dog animatronic sitting down next to lockers. This is Bub, another character from Secret of the Mimic brought to this game. Now her design is cool, but I find it unfortunate that now Sparky will never be used in a Fredbear game again, since Steel made their own Sparky basically. Anyway, we must stare at her on the camera. If she has a successful movement opportunity when we're not looking, she will move a stage. She has 3 stages for this. Stage 1, she's sitting down. Stage 2, she's standing up. And stage 3, she's right up in the camera. Once she leaves the room, she'll be in the office and make this sound, which is supposed to be a bark. I can kind of hear it, but not really. We must look to the left quickly, and once we see her, she goes away. Night 5 is basically a final challenge, for the main game at least. But I want you to see this actual bull. I was just doing my usual watching Bub when this happened. I don't know why this even happened. I thought he could only get you when you pull the cameras down. Maybe I wasn't checking him enough times and the game just forced him to activate, but there's no indication of that even being possible. Anyway, after beating this night, we get our paycheck and figure out that we play as a woman named Linda Walton. We then get access to extras and custom night. The extras are as basic as they get. I mean, they're just extras. I'm not expecting much. But there's this mode that says stupid night that I'm not really going to get into, because it's kind of a useless night. But if you're wondering, it's basically the max mode, but very stupid. Anyway, now we just have to beat max mode. After beating max mode, Tony didn't cheat and I'm not watching a YouTube video, we get a cutscene where we're in this dark room. We can press Control to light up the room, and we can see that we are in the crying child's room. We are sitting down near our plushies, with Foxy's head being gone, while psychic friend Fredbear is watching us from our bed. We can hear Fredbear's laugh, and after that, it cuts to some text at the top of the screen that says, "What did he do this time?" After that, we go back to the menu and get a gold star. Alright, time for my final thoughts. First off, every character has a unique mechanic, which will always be a plus for me. You don't need to have a big cast of characters, you just need diverse mechanics. Also, this game just captures Scott Cawthon's style of modeling well. Now, would Scott make this game back in 2016? Maybe. He got very experimental with sister location. Maybe he wanted to get experimental with each character having a different mechanic. So yeah, I think this game could have been made by Scott. Also, I do like the Secret of the Mimic influence this game has. Anyway, in conclusion, I've really enjoyed this game, and I hope to see more from Mikkel. Did I just call him Mikkel? Did I seriously just call this man's... I've been your host, Rex the Rabbit, and I'll see you next time. Bye.